Jeremiah 29, verse 10, 11, down through 13. And it says, "For thus saith the Lord, that after 70 years be accomplished at Babylon, I will visit you and perform my good word toward you, in causing you to return to this place." Verse 11 says, "For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end." Tell somebody, I've got an expected end. "Then shall ye call upon me, and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you. And ye shall seek me and find me, when ye shall search for me with all your heart. And I will be found of you, saith the Lord, and I will turn away your captivity." Tell somebody, turning away. I want to take a thought, just a few moments, from the 11th verse. It said, "For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace, not of evil, to give you an expected end." Give you an expected end. I want to talk to you for the few moments of the hours from the subject, a reason you need to trust God. A reason you need to trust God. He that have an ear, let him hear what thus said the word. Let him not just be a hearer, but let us be doers of this word. In Jesus' name we pray and we say amen. The reason you need to trust God. We're living in a season, in a day and a time now where there is one element that we lack in our persona. That element is called endurance. Endurance. There are so many people, you may know some, I know some, that they start out good. Start out strong, but somehow or another, before the race is over, they've given up. You know anybody like that? They say, "I'm going back to school and I'm going to get a better education. I want to do something for myself. I want to do some great things." They go for a little while, then they'll stop. You know anybody like that say, "I'm about to do something. I'm about to make some new marks and heights for myself," but they start for a little while. They are not consistent. Sometimes you can have folk in your family like that, folk on the job like that, folk in the church like that. They start out strong, but somehow or another they stop. And really with no excuse or reason for why they stop. The Bible said the race is not given to the swift, neither to the strong, but to him that endureth to the end. A strength athlete is much different from an endurance athlete, because a strength athlete can do mighty things, but in a short span. They can do it for a little while, but it won't sustain. But an endurance athlete is designed for the long haul, which means they may get stopped along the way, but they know that they have a race to run and they have to get up and keep on moving forward. You've got to understand, my brothers and sisters, that this life that we live is full of obstacles. And you're going to have to learn that sometimes you're going to be knocked down, whether it be in sickness, whether it be compromising health, whether it be something going on in your family, whatever it is, you got to learn to dust yourself off and get back up. You need to have endurance. Many people lack that long-term commitment. They'll start a little while, but they give up. They'll start out on the usher board, but the usher board ain't good enough. They'll leave the usher board alone. They go to another department. They'll stay there for a little while. They'll leave. They go to another one. Do you know any people like that that started out good, but then they gave up? You'll find out that sometimes our willingness supersedes our spirituality. We, despite the odds, we got to learn to be like that endurance athlete. Because no matter what you go through, you got to learn how to overcome every adversity. Here in the book of Jeremiah the prophet, God calls him to speak unto Israel because they had been called into captivity because they had forgotten about their God. They had turned away from the God that brought them out, their forefathers out of the land of Egypt, and they forgot about who it was that saved and delivered them. Jeremiah is called by God, and he teaches how to intimately know God. He shows us that if we return back to God, God will return back to us. I want you to understand that when you are called by God, that every day is not going to be peachy keen in your life, because when I read in this book of Jeremiah, there are two things that popped out at me, Dr. Nelson. The one thing that popped out at me was that God will not accept empty or insincere worship. I don't care how well you dance, how well you sing, how well you move, how anointed you are to preach, teach, lay on hands. God does not accept insincere worship. You've got to worship God and you've got to magnify God simply because you know that if it had not been for the Lord that was on your side. Tell somebody, I've got a real reason to give God praise. I'm not talking about that raise that you got last week. I'm not talking about that new car you bought last year. I'm not talking about that house that you're looking at. But I'm talking about anybody here know that God has done some real stuff in your life that you can't put a dollar amount on. God has done some real stuff in your life that you can't show everybody. But when they see you coming, they know it must have been the Lord. Because they know the hardship that you had to deal with. So I understood when I read this text that God does not accept empty or insincere worship. He wants true worship. The second thing God showed me in the text, that serving God does not guarantee earthly success. Simply because you serve God, Dana, does not mean that your life will be without obstacles. In fact, the Bible tells us that many are the affliction of the righteous, but the Lord shall deliver us out of them all. Simply because I love God, Dr. Nelson, does not mean that the devil's not going to try me. In fact, he's going to try me even more so. To try to make me think that the very God that saved me and kept me up until this present time, what makes you think that if he brought you out then that he ain't going to do it now? What makes you think that if God healed your body last year, despite what the doctor said, what makes you think that God ain't going to do it again? Tell somebody, if he did it before, he can do it again. Jeremiah is a prophet of the Most High. Jeremiah had to depend on God's love as he developed his endurance, because endurance has to be developed. That you're not born with endurance. Endurance comes with time and patience. So Jeremiah had to learn how to develop his endurance. His endurance came because Jeremiah was one of those prophets who did not have a great ministry to boast of. In other words, Jeremiah comes along at a time, Sister Betty, that when other preachers were getting accolades, Jeremiah wasn't getting no accolades. Jeremiah really didn't have anything great to speak of his ministry. In fact, if you go back to Moses could brag about the fact that God used him to bring the children of Israel across the Red Sea. He could brag about that. And go back unto Noah. Noah could brag about the fact that God spoke to him and he built the ark for 120 years. And his sermon was that it's going to rain McLean, he did not have a ministry to brag of. He was not judges. He could not brag of how God would come on a man by the name of Samson and allow God to use him in the darkest hour. He had nothing to brag about. In fact, his ministry was that of, for 40 years he preaches and he prophesies to the people of God. And he gets no accolades for all that he's done. Can you imagine preaching for 40 years? And it seems like everything that you say, every prophetic word that's uttered out of your mouth, it seems like nobody takes heed to the words that God has given unto. And so it was with this mindset that Jeremiah had to have endurance. It takes endurance to keep on telling people that God is and God can, even when people don't believe God. It takes endurance to keep on preaching a sermon to tell people you got to have faith, and all the while you're watching people lose their faith. It takes endurance to preach to people and tell them that God is a healer, but all the same while you're seeing people getting sick all around you. It takes endurance to preach to people that God is going to supply all your needs, but then when you look around, you see people in want and they need something from God. It takes endurance. So Jeremiah had to learn to endure. So much so until he got to Jeremiah to the point that Sister Brockington, Jeremiah decides after 40-something, he said, you know what? I quit. Anybody ever had a mind that you just want to quit? And it's okay to be honest, because many of us have been in a place where our back has been against the wall. We just want to say, you know what? I can just go ahead and give up. I can just stop right here. Ain't no sense in me going no further. Ain't no sense in me wasting another day. No more time. Ain't no use in me trying to hide, shuck and jive. I might as well just go ahead and quit. Do I have any real saints of God that in the house this morning that would say, there's been a time in your life where, don't tell me there wasn't a time in your life that the devil didn't speak to you and tell you just going on back out next Friday night. Get you a bottle of Grey Goose. Go buy you 2 packs of Newport. Y'all ain't gonna talk about that. You might as well just go on back out there. Nobody cares. Seems like God doesn't hear you. It seems like church folk won't love you. Seems like nobody's concerned. Seems like you're always getting more bad news than y'all good. Has anybody here ever been to the place where you just wanted to give up and say, it seemed like I was doing better out there than I did in here? But how many know that's just a trick of the enemy? Because when I look back over my life and I think things over, I have some good days, I have some bad days, but when I look around and see what the Lord has done for me, my good days outweigh my bad days. Tell somebody, and I won't complain. Jeremiah gets to the place, his back is up against the wall. He prophesied that not him, and Jeremiah said, I'm going to quit. I'm going to stop. But God had to remind Jeremiah that before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew who you were. I knew that you were going to have the type of ministry that everybody couldn't get with. So preachers, don't get upset when folk don't say amen. Because God knew when he sent you that there were going to be some folk that wouldn't give you an amen if amen was running out of their pocketbook. They wouldn't say amen if amen was coming out of their eardrum. God said, I made you. So, if I made you, then that means God has made me. Sister Tiara, because I know that God made me, that means he has already made provisions for me. He's already established my way out before I even came into this world. In other words, he was a solution to the problems that I was going to go into before I even got to him. Dana, before you were even born, God knew what your setbacks would be. He knew what you would have to go through. And he already answered your problem before you got here. Amen. Tell somebody it's already answered.
It's already answered.
And So because I know that it's already answered, it is my assignment this to give God the glory and the praise. That's why you must learn to always give God a praise. You must learn to always give God the glory. Somebody said, well, why are you giving God the glory and your house is jacked up, your car falling apart, children acting up, your health is falling apart? Why are you giving God the... I'm giving God the glory because for everything that I'm going through, He's already answered it. And so I'm thanking Him in advance because I serve a God and I know He can do anything, Sister Jacobs, but fail. Well, Jeremiah says, I'm not going to preach no more. I'm not going to prophesy no more. But he comes to the place he finds out that once you had an encounter with God, once you've ever been in an intimate relationship with God, you may try to walk out on God, but every now and then your heart looks back. You ever got out of one relationship and thinking that it's better than your last relationship, and you look back and you start reminiscing about the old days, but you're really in a new situation, but you're looking back at the old stuff, and that's what God is saying to us. You were walking somewhere sometime with a new relationship, and God said, I'm standing back here, and because you know I'm good, every now and then you got to look over your shoulder and say, Lord, thank you. Oh, because I remember how good you were. I'm over here, God. I ain't giving you the time I should, but every now and then I look back over my shoulder and I remember when I didn't have bread to eat, you fed me. I look back over my shoulder when I was sick and could not make it. You were the one that healed my body. What I gained. Tell somebody, don't lose what you got. Don't lose what you got. Trying to chase after what you want. Because sometimes Richard comes along and tells you and he gets not happy with you anymore, then he tries to take back the word that God has already given you and try to make it contingent. If you do this and you do that, but if God says it, that settles it. So, the prophet says, thus saith the Lord. I don't care what's going on in your life. God said you're healed. Doctors may say one thing, but God said it's because of His stripes. We already made healed. I don't care what the bank tell you. He told us that a cattle 1,000 healed belong to Him. Tell somebody, thus said the Lord. I know your children are haywire and they're going through some things and sometimes you don't recognize who they are. But thus said the Lord. He said, I'll save your children. And your children's children. Somebody say, thus saith the Lord. He said that after 70 years be accomplished. So there is sometimes a waiting period. There's a waiting period. Sometimes, people say it may not come when you want him. Oh, but he's right on time. And most of the time when we say that, we are hoping that it will be right after our prayer. But the reality of it is, elder, sometimes God will not come when you want him. Because we've got to learn to build up some endurance. We can't be like the little 5-year-old in the toy aisle. Every time he walks through the aisle, he thinks he's going to get some toys. My grandson, every time we go to Walmart, I don't care where we got to go, if it's in the produce side, the clothing side, somehow or another, he finds a way to lead us over into the toy aisle. And when he gets there, he starts looking, he said, ooh, toys. He said, Daddy, he called me Daddy. He said, Daddy, look at the toys. I want this. I want that. I want this. Now, the daddy in me would love to give it to him. But I understand that you can't give children everything they want when they want it. Because then they get to a place where they look for it and they don't respect what you give them. If you don't believe me, buy your child a pair of jeans today. And look for them tomorrow and see if you can find them. Y'all ain't gonna talk about it. I remember when Christmas time came around our house and my wife don't mind buying for the children. She always made sure that your children had everything and then made sure that I paid for it. And so they had everything that they needed all the time. And I used to watch the children many times because out of all the toys, we would buy them the top shelf stuff. And Sister Jacobs, Junior sometimes would be playing with stuff that we didn't buy, like the paper towel holder. he would be having more fun with the stuff that we didn't buy than he did with the stuff that we did buy. So sometimes God has to bring us to a place where you must understand, it ain't that I don't want to give it to you, Star. It's because you just got to learn how to wait. Because you understand the value of it when you got to wait for it.
Yeah.
You don't understand the value of what God can give to you. Every time God, you ask God to move, that God moves like an ATM card. It doesn't work like that. In fact, you ought to be glad. Some of us really ought to be glad that God don't answer some other Christians right away like they want him to answer right away, because there are some Christians that don't like you. If some of us had the power, Sister Frazier, to get stuff right away, and God moved when we say right now, I'm going to tell you what would happen. Everybody at the funeral home that you like, you bring them back. But the ones you don't like, you leave them there. Isn't it a good thing that God is not like us? He moves in his time and according to the wisdom of heaven. So he says, in a amount of time, I am going to do something for you, thus saith the Lord. For I know the thoughts that I have, and I think towards you. And the thoughts that God has towards you, I don't care how bad the situation may seem in your life right now, God has thoughts and plans for you. Even though it seems like you're not going to make it through this situation, God said, the only reason why I allowed you to go through what you're going through is because I needed to show you that I'm God. I'm allowing you to go through so your neighbor can see it, so your enemy can see it, so your friend can see it, so the church folk can see it, so the choir members can see it, so the usher boy can see it, so the preacher can see it, and said that it was nobody but the Lord that brought you out. When your back was up against the wall, he said, I know the thoughts that I think towards you, saith the Lord. Thoughts of peace. Tell somebody God is going to give you peace in this season. Because last year, many of you have gone through some obstacles, ups and downs, some sleepless nights, can't find no peace in the home, couldn't find no peace on your job, even got in your car, couldn't find no peace there. But God said, in this season, I'm going to give you peace in the midst of your storm. In other words, he's not going to take away the storm, but as long as the storm is there, I'm going to give you peace in the storm. Because the storm is always going to be somewhere lurking. But aren't you glad that God gives you peace? So much peace, Dana, that while things are falling down around you, turning over upside down, folks are going to wonder, how are you staying so calm while all hell is breaking loose? How are you going around with a smile on your face and all four of your tires are sitting over? How are you standing strong and the devil is not going? Because I got peace. That surpasses all understanding. Tell somebody I got peace. I'm going to have peace in this season. I'm not going to lay awake at night. I'm going to have some peace in this life. Life is too short. Tell somebody, life is too short not to have some peace. I don't want to just rest in peace. I want to walk in peace. I want to live in peace. I want to move in peace. Somebody shout peace. He said, and ye shall seek me and find me. There have been times when you could not find God, so you thought, but he said, I was there all the time. When life gets messy, it's natural for us to get stressed or angry or bitter, especially when life takes a turn that we did not expect. A broken engagement, a loss of a spouse, the diagnosis of a cancer, death seems to be on the rampage. An unexpected mess happens in your life. But aren't you glad that God gives us a reason that we must trust him? How can I trust God when I look at my daughter is going through ups and downs? How can I trust God when I see my son? It seems like the odds are against me. How do I trust God when my husband walks off and leaves me? How do I trust God when my wife runs away somewhere? How do I trust God when everything is stacked against me. But I've learned that most of the time when trouble comes, it ain't because God hates us. It's not because God has forgotten all about us, but sometimes trouble comes just to sharpen us up. Tell somebody, say, you about to get sharp now. Sharp, man. Trouble will come to sharpen you up, to mold you, to transform you into something greater than you already were. He wants us to see a side of himself that we haven't seen yet. In other words, you'll never know that God is a healer until you get sick. It's one thing to hear folk talk about he's a healer. It's another thing to read about it. But I don't have anybody in the building that understands that God is truly a healer. If the doctor ever told you anything and said there was no cure on you, but you're still standing. Oh, God. Sometimes God brings things to our lives, allows things to happen so we can find out who God is for ourselves. God wants to mold us. He wants to make us greater. He wants us to see a part of him that we've never experienced. He wants not only us to see it, but he wants the world to see that God is on your side. And if it had not been for him, you would not have made it. He can do in our lives when we won't trust him with the mess. Tell somebody, I got a mess in my life. But I'm going to trust the master over the mess. So we might as well respond the way he desires for us, so he can get the glory out of our life. God wants to come into our situation, and he wants to move the mess out of our lives so that we will see the glory of God. Here are some reasons you must learn and understand. I must trust God. It's imperative that I trust God. I need to trust God. Because God is more compassionate than you realize. He loves us. He loved us even before we were formed in our parents' womb. He knew who we would be and what we would go through. I got a reason to trust him this morning. Psalms 56 and 8 tells us that God not only sees our tears, but he collects them. That means my hurt and your hurt and their hurt are more precious to him than we can ever imagine. The kind of response from him means he's trustworthy to work our situation out, and it's for our good, because all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord and are called according to his promise. Tell somebody, the only reason why I'm going through what I'm going through, because it's for my good. It may not look good, may not taste good, but it is for my good. Second thing, you must understand that your situation did not take God by surprise. It may have surprised you what they said. It may surprise you what's going on in your life. But it does not surprise God, because before there was a heaven and an earth, there was God. Before there was a mountain or 7 seas, there was God. Before there was a fruit tree, an olive tree, a pear tree, a palm tree, there was God. Before the 7 seas were made in this earth, there was God. Before there was the 7 wonders of the world, there was God. Before there was a Japan, a Hiroshima, a Baltimore, Maryland, a New York, a Mississippi, there was still God. Before there was an England, before there was a Europe, there was a God. Before there were angels, there was God. And so therefore, your situation may come as a surprise to you, but it's not a surprise to God. And so you got to learn to do like Psalms 139 tells us, that God is familiar with all our ways. We have been what we are doing now, where we have been, and where we're about to go. God already knows. We are operating in time, so therefore our view is skewed and we can't see what God has for us. But we serve a God that not only does not become a slave to time, but God can come in time, deal with us in our situation while we're in time, and then step out of our time over into the present and wait for our time to match his time. Y'all are going to talk back to me. So in other words, it means that God can step in your situation while you're going through your situation, step out of your situation, and give you an answer from God. So you got to learn to wait on him. Exercise your faith in him. This is how your strength, your exercise, your faith, this is how your strength is made perfect in weakness. The third thing you need to understand that God is more capable of managing your life than you are. You are trying to manage your own situation and God is saying, I got it under control. Could it be the reason why he's not answered so many of our prayers sometimes because we've been in his way? We've tried to fix it based on our own intellect and our own understanding. And God is saying, if you would just get out of my way and allow me to tell somebody, say, move and let God work. Move and let God work. Let God get in your situation. You've done all you can do. You prayed all you can pray. Sometimes you got to learn to step back and let God fix it. For he's capable and able to do abundantly all that we could ever ask or think for. God is able to do just that. Fourthly, you must understand that God at any time can clear your mess up. It doesn't take God all year. It doesn't take God all night. God will move when God is ready to move. It seems like God only moves in our life sometimes when we get to the place where we stop trusting everybody else. The reason why God doesn't move sometimes because we put too much trust in people. And when people let us down, the first person we walk away from is God. But God said, if you trust me first, you'll never be let down. Romans 28 assures us that God causes all things to work for our good. But the next verse tells us how God works things for our good in our lives. For those who he foreknew. In other words, those he knew before they knew themselves. He had already worked the situation out. He already brought it to fruition. All I got to do is find my deliverance. Deliverance is already mine, but I got to find the one that is addressed to me. It's almost going into a bag and weeding through the bag and finding a letter with your name on it. It's addressed to you, and nobody can open that letter but you. God wants you to open up your spiritual letter because it's addressed to you. Your healing, your joy, your strength, your peace of mind, it's already been addressed to you. And sometimes the mailman can't bring every letter to your house. There are some letters that can come to your house addressed as occupant or resident. But when it's something specific for you, Sister Betty, somebody's got to either sign for it or you got to go down to the post office and get it yourself. And God is saying, the blessings that I have for you, I can't allow the residents of your occupancy to get a hold of it. So I'm going to have to pull you out of where you are, and you got to come and go get this dog. You got to get up from where you are and go get your man. Do I have anybody that's not too lazy that you can get on your feet and say, I'm going after my miracle. I'm going after my deliverance. I'm going after my job. I'm going to the enemy's camp. And I'm going to take back what he stole from me. God is incapable of misunderstanding. He's incapable of mismanagement. And he's incapable of making a mistake. Deuteronomy 32:4 says, his works are perfect and his ways are just. This simply means that God never gets it wrong. He never messes up. And he never sends a miracle that's intended for you to somebody else. Because what God has for me, God, it is for me. God has already solved your problem. Only thing you got to do now is learn to just give him the thanks and give God the praise. Often we look at certain situations in our life before we consider our problems being fixed, but God looks at the details and the intentions of our very hearts. It's impossible for God to work when we don't have faith and trust in him. You got to learn to trust God even while you're going through your mess. Don't wait till the battle is over, but you need to learn to shout right now. A messy situation is one of primary ways that God awakens us out of our dull sleep. He allows us to follow him. We grow our independence in him. He shapes our character. He draws us closer to him. And the list goes on and on and on. But tell some reason to trust in God. Job said in the book of Job, though he slay me, yet will I trust him. But Job also said, I will maintain my own ways before him. He also shall be my salvation. For hypocrite shall not stand before him. And he said, in all my appointed time will I wait until my change comes. Tell your neighbor, I'm going to wait until my change comes. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care how many minutes. I don't care how many hours. I don't care how many days. I don't care how many weeks. I don't care how many months. I don't care how many years. But one thing I do know, he that will come, he shall come. Tell your neighbor, my deliverance, your deliverance, my joy, your joy, my peace, your peace, it's on the way. You know that it's on the way. I know it's on the way. I know it's on the way. I know it's on the way. Won't God step into your situation? Do I have you to try to heal? When the doctor said there was no cure, Dr. Jesus came in and he healed your body. Yes. They said you're about to lose your mind. But Dr. Jesus stepped in a private room, put down the medicine, and said, by your stripes, you're already healed. He spoke a word and said, let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus. You thank God for your mind. Say, I thank him for my mind. I thank him for my mind. I thank him for my mind. I could have lost it last year, but God kept me. Won't he do it? Won't he do it? Won't he do it? You need to have a reason to trust God. Yes, the Bible said, fear thou not, for I am with thee. Oh, yes. Tell somebody, say, fear not, because he's with you. He says, don't get scared. And then secondly, he says, be not dismayed. Don't get discombobulated because everybody else is going crazy. God is going to keep you in the midst of confusion and allow you to walk out of your fiery furnace. You won't even smell like smoke. He says, I will strengthen thee. I will help thee. I will uphold thee with my what? My right hand. Tell somebody, yes, he will. Isaiah 41:10 says, but they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. I stopped by to let you know you got to trust God in this season. Know that God is going to bring you out. Know that God is going to make a way for you. Know that God has made provisions for you. Know that God is healing your body. Know that God is saving your children. Know that God is touching your pocketbook. Know that God is touching your cabinets. Know that God is touching on your job. Know that God is touching in your family. Know that God is touching in your church. Know that God is touching in your road. And right now I feel him touching inside. Tell somebody just a touch. So when the next time you pass through the waters, Jesus told me to tell you, I'll be with you. Through the rivers, they flame kindle upon thee. Oh God, somebody say God has got it all under control. Tell your neighbor, say neighbor, God will take care of you. Don't be let you down. God may let you down. Medicine may let you down. The Lord may let you down. Your father may let you down. Your husband may let you down. Your wife may let you down. Your friends may let you down. But tell somebody, God will. God will. God will. He'll take care of you. Won't he do it? Won't he do it? Won't he? Won't God do it? Every people, he's gonna take good care of you. Yeah, the writer said, be not dismayed, whatever betide. God will, God will, God will take care of you beneath his wings of love abide. God, 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 he will take care of you. He'll see you in the midnight hour. Tears running down your eyes, but God will take care of you. God, see you go and walked away from you, but he'll still take care of you. You may be limited in your mortal body, but God will take care of you. Do I have anybody that know that when men think God can? He brought you, he kept you, he held you, he rocked you in the cradle of his arms. He held you, he spoke to you, he sang to you. I know it's alright. I know it's alright. Whatever I go through, God will. God will take care of you. Whatever the situation, God will take care of it. He'll take care of my children. Take care of my children's children. Take care of my children's children. God will. Every situation, God, 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 yeah, yeah. The reason, we still ain't answered that question yet. The reason you need to trust God. Y'all gonna help me close this sermon out. Tell your neighbor, say neighbor. The reason why you need to trust God. Because who else gonna get you out?